Welcome to the Tournament Center. This is Brian David Marshall coming to you from the 2008 Magic the Gathering World Championships in Memphis. I'm here with Frank Karsten. Frank was the alternate on the Dutch national team this year.
Yep.
He is X2-1 right now.
No draw. X2.
X2? Wow,
yeah.
That's awesome. So you went 4-2 on day one.
Yes.
And you've been cruising through day two, drafting Yund.
Exactly.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, we were trying to do some draft techs here. I wanted to find out what a Yund deck looks like. This is a deck that was featured in the draft viewer.
Yep.
Why don't you talk a little bit about what some of the key cards are here that make you want to draft this deck?
Well, the triple Yund charm is pretty good. It's one of the best charms, and I was, I guess, a bit lucky to get 3 of them. So this deck might not be your typical Yund deck. The typical Yund deck might be perhaps a bit faster with smaller creatures, with some token creatures. Cards like Hissing Iguanar to get a really fast start. But I try to pick larger creatures with 3 or more toughness a bit higher, since they survive the Pyroclasm effect of the Yund charm.
So a card like Drake Griever?
Yeah, it actually becomes playable in a deck like this, yeah.
And even the Liutao, although you probably like the Liutao.
I actually like the Liutao a lot. I like most unearthed cards. It just feels like card advantage when you get another attack in with Undead Liutao. I mean, either they take like 6 damage, or they have to sacrifice a creature to jump block. I like those kind of things.
One of the cards I was curious about is Algae Garial. This is a card that a lot of people don't seem to love this card, but how high do you think this card should be picked if you're drafting a Yund deck?
Should be taken around 3rd pick or something, especially with like token creatures like Dragon Father or Blood Pyro Elemental. It gets out of hand pretty quickly, and I just played against the Grixis deck last round. He had a ton of removal, but when I played this on turn 4 with the Shroud, the game was pretty much over because it was just going to become really big and you couldn't do anything about it.
So let me ask you an old school draft dilemma, right?
Okay.
Algae Garial versus Scavenger Drake. Which card would you take in this deck?
In this deck, probably the Algae Garial. I think the Shroud is really important.
Right. I think most people
but it's close, I guess.
Side of the Scavenger Drake, I would say, right?
Perhaps. It's really close though, in my opinion. Yeah, the more typical Yund deck probably has some more emphasis on the unearthed and devour strategies. Like, for example, unearthed the Viscera Dragger, and after the attack, eat it with the Thorn Trash Fiashino, stuff like that.
So here's a question for you. I mean, you can draft a shard, you know, you figure out, these are the cards, I mean, this shard's getting past me. I think the toughest aspect of limited for Shards of Alara is getting the mana right.
Yes, that is definitely important. You should take these lands pretty highly, especially the Crumbling Necropolis and Savage lands. You should take them like 3rd pick or something, maybe even 2nd pick. They're just really important to fix your mana. Yeah, you don't want to lose a mana screw.
How do you arrive at this configuration of lands for this deck? What are your considerations?
Well, I look at how much of each color do I have. Like, I clearly have the most of green, and then a bit more red than black. Also, I keep in mind when you need the mana, like for example Dragon Father or Druid of the Ainima, you want to cast them on turn 2. So Obelisk of Jund or Jund Panorama won't count. So you'll need to add a couple more forests and mountains for that. Try to balance it out a bit.
Yeah, this is one now. You drafted Yund in the previous draft, and this is kind of an interesting deck.
Yeah, triple Dead Baron. That is pretty rare.
I mean, sort of overshadows the Broodmate Dragon that probably put you firmly into Yund with your first pick.
That was my first pick, exactly. Yeah.
So how good is this card?
It's fine. I would guess take it like 4th or 5th pick. If you get it early in the draft, you can start taking skeletons and zombies a bit higher. But usually when you're black, you will have at least a couple skeletons and zombies.
Right.
And a lot of them also have inert, like the Dragscape zombie.
Skeletal Qatari is a skeleton.
Yeah.
So skeleton, you know, it works with both. So yeah, it seems to have a lot of. I see it go around fairly late in drafts that I've watched, but it seems to have a lot of natural affinity for the archetype.
In the right deck, it's like a glorious anthem that also gives that touch. It can be really good if you have the right deck for it. Yeah.
So here's a card I wanted to talk to you about real quick.
Yeah.
You posted an. How would you describe the article you posted on Manimaze, which sort of outlined, ordered the commons and uncommons in Shards of Alara?
Yeah, that was, I made a list, a pick order list. Not really set in stone yet, mostly thinking that card approximately like first pick, that card just below these triple lands, something like that.
Right.
And well, first pick, first pack, I tried to pick single color cards first.
So you had Resounding Thunder over Oblivion Ring, which I think was surprising for some people, right?
Yeah, well, I like Yunt as a deck. The colors are really deep, so even if your neighbor is also on Yunt, you will still end up with a fine deck since there are just so many playables in the colors.
The card that it was really interesting to me is a card you had, I think, at 4th.
Yeah.
And it's this card right here, which is probably not a card you have at 4th in your common, uncommon pick order at home. But if Frank is saying that it's that high, it's something we should be paying attention to. Why is this card so good, Corpse Connoisseur?
I basically see it as a 3-for-1 with a free lava axe attached. It has a really big effect on the flow of the game. Usually when I have it and when I draft Yunt, I will take a lot of unearthed creatures. I might play the Corpse Connoisseur, get like a Vitian Stinger first, then use the Stinger to kill a guy. When the Corpse Connoisseur dies, I eventually will get it back, and then I'll search, I don't know, a Scourge Devil or an Undead Leotau with it and swing for a lot of damage. And single-handedly, it will deal so much damage or trade with so many creatures or give you so much card advantage. I really like it to have in my deck.
So you make it almost sound like a Mystical Teachings.
Better.
Better, wow. All right, well, there you have it. There's your draft tech from Frank Karsten. Take a closer look at Corpse Connoisseur. Try to be Yund, and Frank, I'm going to wish you continued good luck in the 2008 World Championships. Frank Karsten, Brian David Marshall, signing off from the Tournament Center.
Thanks.